the desperate offer. The rain hammered against my apartment window as I stared at the eviction notice. 3 months behind on rent, and my construction job had dried up faster than water in the desert. At 32, I thought I'd have my life figured out by now. Instead, I was counting coins for instant noodles. The knock on my door came at exactly midnight. Strange timing, but desperate times called for answering strange knocks. I opened it to find the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen, though something about her seemed otherworldly. Her skin had an unusual pale blue tint, and her eyes were larger than normal, almost luminous in the dim hallway light. James Rivera? Her voice carried a musical quality that made my name sound like poetry. Yeah, that's me. Who's asking? She glanced nervously down the hallway before stepping closer. My name is Zara. I need your help, and I can pay you well for it. I studied her face. She wore expensive clothes, but her hands shook slightly. Whatever she needed, it wasn't simple. What kind of help? I need you to pretend to be my mate, my husband. Just for a few weeks, maybe a month. I blinked hard. Lady, I don't know what kind of services you think I provide, but not like that. She cut me off, her cheeks flushing a deeper blue. I need legal protection, immigration status. I have a child, and without a human husband, they'll take her away from me. That stopped me cold. Take her away? Who will? Zara's eyes darted around again. The authorities. I'm not from here, James. Not from this city. Not from this country. Not from this world. I should have left. Should have closed the door and gone back to my problems. But something in her voice, the raw fear mixed with desperate hope, kept me listening. You're telling me you're an alien. Half alien. My mother was human. My father was from a distant planet called Zirian. Our people have been living secretly among humans for generations. But the government found out about us. They're rounding up mixed families, separating children from their parents. She reached into her purse and pulled out a thick envelope. There's $5,000 here. More if you help me. $5,000. That would cover my rent, my bills, and give time to find work. But pretending to be someone's husband? Even for a few weeks? Why me? I asked. Because you're perfect. You're human, you're single, and according to my research, you're desperate enough to say yes. Her honesty was brutal but accurate. I looked at the money, then at her face. Behind the fear, I saw something else. A mother's love. The same look my own mother had when she fought to keep our family together after my father left. This child of yours, where is she? Zara's expression softened. Waiting in my car. She's 3 years old, and she's the most important thing in my universe. What's her name? Luna. She has my eyes, but her father's curiosity about everything. I found myself wanting to meet this little girl, and her father. Pain flashed across Zara's features. He died protecting our settlement from government raids. Luna is all I have left of him, and all he has left in this world. The weight of her story settled on my shoulders. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about a mother trying to save her child, and a little girl who might lose the only parent she had left. If I say yes, what exactly would I have to do? Live with us. Be seen in public as my husband. Sign the necessary papers. Convince anyone who asks that we're a real family. I thought about my empty apartment, my empty life, my empty bank account. Then I thought about Luna, waiting in the car, trusting her mother to find a way to keep them together. Show me the papers. Meeting Luna the next morning, I found myself standing in front of a modest house in the suburbs, holding a suitcase with everything I owned. Zara had insisted we start immediately. The sooner we established our marriage, the safer they'd be. She opened the door before I could knock. wearing a simple dress that somehow made her ethereal beauty even more striking in daylight. "James, thank you for coming. I gave you my word." I stepped inside and immediately felt a small tug on my jeans. Looking down, I saw the most adorable little girl imaginable. She had Zara's luminous eyes but darker hair, and her skin was a perfect blend of human and whatever Zara was. She looked completely human except for those remarkable eyes. "Luna, this is James. He's going to be living with us for a while." Luna tilted her head, studying me with an intensity that seemed far beyond her years. "Are you my new daddy?" The question hit me like a punch to the chest. I knelt down to her level, not wanting to lie to a child. "I'm your mommy's friend. I'm here to help keep you safe." She nodded solemnly, then surprised me by reaching out to touch my hand. "You have kind eyes. Mommy said you would." Zara showed me to the guest room, but Luna followed us, chattering about her toys, her favorite cartoons, and how she could make flowers bloom faster by singing to them. That last part made me glance at Zara, who shrugged. "Zarian abilities sometimes manifest early. It's harmless." Over the next few days, I settled into the strangest routine of my life. We ate breakfast together, like a real family. I drove Luna to her preschool, while Zara worked from home as a translator. She spoke 17 languages, she told me, including several not from Earth. The hard part was the paperwork. We had to go to the courthouse and file our marriage certificate. Standing there, holding Zara's hand while a board clerk processed our documents, I felt like a fraud. But when I looked at Luna, who was drawing pictures of our family in the waiting area, I reminded myself why we were doing this. That evening, Luna insisted on showing me her room. It was filled with books, far more advanced than what a 3-year-old should be reading. She picked up a story about space exploration and asked me to read it to her. "Mommy says my daddy came from the stars," she said as I turned the pages. "Do you think I'll go to the stars someday?" "Maybe you will, sweetheart. Maybe you'll do amazing things." She smiled and curled up against my side as I read. The trust she showed me was overwhelming. This little girl, who barely knew me, was already treating me like family. Later, after Luna was asleep, Zara and I sat in the living room planning our next moves. We needed to be seen together in public, establish a history as a couple, and prepare for the inevitable background checks. "There's something else I need to tell you," Zara said, her voice hesitant. "What now? Luna isn't just half human. She's special, even among our people. Her abilities are stronger than they should be at her age. The government doesn't just want to separate mixed families. They want to study children like her." I felt a chill run down my spine. "Study her how?" "Tests, experiments. They want to understand how our genetics work, how our abilities manifest. Luna would become a lab subject." The thought of that bright, curious little girl being treated like a science experiment made my blood boil. Over my dead body, Zara looked at me with surprise. "You really care about her already, don't you?" I realized I did. In just a few days, Luna had wormed her way into my heart. The way she laughed at my terrible jokes, how she insisted on helping me make coffee in the morning, her endless questions about everything from why the sky was blue to whether aliens liked ice cream. She's a good kid. She deserves better than being afraid all the time. That night, I lay in bed thinking about the family I'd never had, the father I'd never been. Maybe this arrangement started as a business transaction, but it was becoming something more, something real, and that scared me more than any government conspiracy ever could. Becoming a family 3 weeks into our arrangement, I realized I'd stopped thinking of it as pretending. Luna had started calling me Papa James, and it made my heart skip every time. Zara and I had developed an easy rhythm of domestic life that felt surprisingly natural, The first real test came when a social worker showed up unannounced. Mrs. Patterson was a stern woman with sharp eyes and a clipboard full of questions. She wanted to inspect our home, interview us separately, and observe our family dynamics. How long have you been married? She asked Zara while I played with Luna in the next room. 6 months, Zara replied smoothly. We'd practiced this story dozens of times. And Mr. Rivera, when did you know you wanted to be Luna's father? I looked up from the puzzle Luna and I were working on, the moment I met her. Some things you just know, you know? Mrs. Patterson scribbled notes. Luna seems very attached to you. He reads me stories about space, Luna chimed in, and he makes funny voices for all the characters. Mommy says he's silly, but I like silly. I caught Zara's eye across the room. She was trying not to smile, but I could see the relief in her expression. After Mrs. Patterson left, we celebrated with ice cream. Luna got more on her face than in her mouth, and when I tried to clean her up, she giggled and smeared chocolate on my nose. You two are ridiculous, Zara laughed, but her voice was warm with affection. That night, after Luna was in bed, Zara and I sat on the back porch watching the stars. She pointed out constellations I'd never heard of, telling me stories about her father's world. Zarian has 3 moons, she said. The night sky is never really dark there. Always some light dancing across the horizon. Do you miss it? I've never been there. My father came here as a young man, fell in love with my mother. I was born human, grew up human. I only learned about my heritage when my abilities started manifesting in my teens. What kind of abilities? She held out her hand, palm up. Slowly, a small flower began to grow from her skin, blooming into a perfect rose. Life manipulation, healing. Luna's inherited a stronger version of it. I stared at the flower, then at her. That's incredible. It's also why they want us. Imagine what the military could do with soldiers who could heal themselves, who could make food grow in desert conditions. The implications were staggering. Is that why Luna's father died? Fighting against that? Zara nodded, tears forming in her luminous eyes. He was protecting a group of families trying to escape. The government had found our settlement. He stayed behind to buy us time. I reached out without thinking and took her hand. I'm sorry. He would have liked you, she said softly. You have the same kind heart. Something shifted between us in that moment. The pretense fell away, and I saw her not as my client or my cover story, but as a woman who'd lost everything and was fighting to protect what little she had left. The next morning, Luna bounded into the kitchen where I was making breakfast. Papa James, I had a dream about you. Oh yeah? What happened in the dream? You stayed with us forever and ever. And we went to see the 3 moons together. My throat tightened. That sounds like a nice dream, kiddo. But as I looked at Zara, I realized it was more than a dream. It was becoming what I wanted most in the world. The problem was, our arrangement had an expiration date. Once Zara's immigration status was secure, once the immediate danger passed, I was supposed to leave. We'd never talked about what would happen after that. That afternoon, while Luna napped, I found myself asking the question that had been eating at me. When this is over, what happens to us? Zara was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I hadn't thought past keeping Luna safe. And now? She looked at me with those incredible eyes. Now I'm thinking about things I shouldn't be thinking about. Like what? Like how Luna lights up when you come home from your job interviews. Like how right it feels when you put your arm around me in public. Like how I've started wishing this wasn't just pretend. My heart hammered against my ribs. Zara ... I know it's complicated. I know you didn't sign up for this. But somewhere along the way, I stopped hiring you and started falling for you. I moved closer to her, close enough to see the flecks of silver in her blue eyes. "What if I told you I stopped pretending weeks ago?" Before she could answer, Luna's voice called from her room. "Mommy! Papa James! Come see what I made." We rushed to her room to find every plant in there had bloomed. Her small desk garden had exploded into a riot of colors, flowers growing in impossible patterns. "I dreamed about the 3 moons again," Luna said proudly. "And when I woke up, everything was happy like in my dream." Zara and I exchanged glances. Luna's abilities were growing stronger, and she was connecting them to her emotions about our family. "That's beautiful, sweetheart," I told her, lifting her up for a hug. As I held her, I realized that somewhere along the way, we'd stopped playing house and started building a real home. The truth revealed. The call came at 2 a.m. Zara's phone buzzed with an emergency alert from her underground network. Government agents were conducting raids across the city, specifically targeting mixed families, with children showing abilities. "We have to go now," Zara whispered, shaking me awake. I was instantly alert. "How much time do we have?" "Maybe an hour." "They're working their way through the neighborhood systematically." We moved quickly and quietly. I packed our essential documents while Zara gathered Luna's things. Our little girl woke up confused and scared, not understanding why we were leaving in the middle of the night. "Are we going on an adventure?" she asked sleepily as I carried her to the car. "Something like that, sweetheart," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. As we drove through the empty streets, Zara explained our options. "There's a safe house network, underground railroad for families like us. But James, once we go into hiding, there's no going back to normal life." "What about your immigration case? Our marriage papers?" "None of that matters now. They're not interested in legal processes anymore. They're just taking people." I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Then we run. We keep Luna safe, whatever it takes." The safe house was a farmhouse an hour outside the city. An elderly human woman named Rose welcomed us in, no questions asked. She'd been helping mixed families for years, she told us, since her own daughter married a Syrian refugee. "You'll be safe here for a few days," Rose said, showing us to a small room with bunk beds. "But you can't stay long. They're getting better at tracking us." Over the next few days, I watched Luna struggle with the upheaval. She didn't understand why she couldn't go outside, why she had to whisper, why the adults always looked worried. Her abilities began manifesting in response to her stress plants throughout the house started growing wild, and she accidentally healed a cut on my hand just by touching it. "I don't like this place," she told me one evening. "I want to go home." No, kiddo. But sometimes we have to be brave, even when we're scared. Are you scared too, Papa James? I looked into her trusting eyes. Yeah, I am. But being scared doesn't mean we're not brave. It means we're being brave, even though we're scared. That night, Zara and I sat up late planning our next move. The network could get us new identities, relocate us to Canada or Mexico, but it would mean leaving everything behind permanently. I never wanted this life for her, Zara said, watching Luna sleep. I wanted her to have a normal childhood, go to school, make friends. She can still have that. Maybe not here, maybe not the way we planned, but she can still have a good life. Zara turned to me. James, you could still walk away. This isn't your fight. You could go back to your old life. What old life? Working dead-end jobs, living paycheck to paycheck, coming home to an empty apartment? Luna changed everything for me. You changed everything. Even if it means running for the rest of our lives? I thought about Luna's laugh, the way she held my hand when we crossed the street, how she'd started drawing pictures of our family, with all three of us smiling under a sky full of stars. Especially then. She's my daughter now, in every way that matters, And you're not just someone I'm helping anymore. You're the woman I love. Zara's eyes filled with tears. I love you too. I didn't want to, didn't plan to, but I do. The next morning brought terrible news. Rose's network had been compromised. Agents were raiding safe houses across 3 states. We had maybe 6 hours before they reached us. There's one option left, Rose told us grimly. A ship leaving tonight for a colony world where mixed families live openly. But it's a one-way trip, no coming back. Luna overheard and tugged on my shirt. Papa James, are we going to see the 3 moons? I knelt down to her level. Would you like that, sweetheart? She nodded eagerly. Can we take Rose too? And all the scared families? Out of the mouths of babes. Here we were, adults consumed with fear and difficult choices, and Luna was worried about others. That afternoon, I made a decision that would change everything. I called my old boss from the construction company, a decent man who'd always treated his workers fairly. Mike, it's James Rivera. I need a favor, a big one. James, where the hell have you been? I've got work if you want it. I need you to not ask questions and to trust me. Can you do that? An hour later, Mike showed up with a crew truck and 5 of his most trusted workers. They didn't ask why we needed to move families in the middle of the night, or why some of the children made flowers bloom just by looking at them. They just loaded people into trucks and drove them to the hidden spaceport dot as our ship prepared for departure. Luna pressed her face to the window, watching Earth fall away below us. Will we ever come back, Papa James? I don't know, Luna, but wherever we go, we'll be together. And that's what makes it home. Zara took my hand as the stars grew brighter outside. No more pretending, she said. No more pretending, I agreed. But I wasn't thinking about our fake marriage anymore. I was thinking about the real family we'd become, and the new world waiting for us among the stars. New beginnings among the stars. 6 months later, I stood in the garden of our new home on Haven Colony, watching Luna play with other children who, like her, could make flowers dance with their thoughts. The settlement was built into the side of a mountain, with homes carved from living rock and gardens that grew in impossible spirals toward the sky. True to Luna's dreams, 3 moons hung in the afternoon sky, casting rainbow shadows across the landscape. The children here grew up knowing they were special, knowing their abilities were gifts rather than secrets to hide. Papa James, Luna called out, running toward me with a crown of living flowers in her hair. Look what I made. She held out her hands, and a butterfly made of pure light fluttered between her palms. It was beautiful and impossible, and it made my heart swell with pride. That's incredible, sweetheart. You're getting so strong. Mrs. Kellen says I might be able to help heal the mountain gardens soon, the ones that got hurt in the old war. Mrs. Kellen was Luna's teacher, an elderly Xerian woman who'd been among the first settlers on Haven. She'd taken Luna under her wing, helping her understand and control her growing abilities. Zara appeared beside me, her arms slipping around my waist. She was dressed in the flowing robes favored by the colonists, her hair adorned with living vines that bloomed with tiny blue flowers. She looked more beautiful than ever, and more at peace than I'd seen her since we met. The council approved our proposal, she said, smiling. The school? The school. They're giving us the old community center to convert. We can start teaching Earth history and human culture to the children born here. It had been my idea. Many of the young colonists were 2nd or 3rd generation, born on Haven and raised with only stories of Earth. I wanted to make sure they understood where half their heritage came from, that they knew the beauty of humanity alongside its flaws. And they want you to head up the engineering program, Zara continued, teaching the older kids how to build and repair the infrastructure. I'd found my calling on Haven, helping maintain the delicate balance of technology and biology that kept the colony running. The work was challenging and meaningful in a way my old construction jobs never were. That evening, we attended the weekly community gathering in the Central Plaza. Families from across the colony came together to share food, stories, and music. Children played games that involved levitating balls of light, while adults discussed everything from crop rotation to interstellar communication. Luna sat between Zara and me, her head resting against my shoulder as an elderly storyteller recounted the founding of Haven Colony. The story always ended the same way, with the promise that no child would ever again have to hide what they were. "Papa James," Luna whispered, "are you happy here?" I looked around at the faces illuminated by floating lanterns, at the children laughing as they chased light butterflies through the warm evening air, at Zara's hand in mine. "I'm happier than I ever thought possible, kiddo." "Good, because I have something important to tell you." She sat up straight, her expression serious in the way only a 4-year-old could manage. "I've decided you're not my pretend daddy anymore. You're my real daddy. Is that okay?" My throat tightened with emotion. More than okay. It's perfect. She beamed and settled back against me. "Mommy says we might have a baby brother or sister soon, one that's part you too." I looked at Zara in surprise. She blushed that lovely blue color and nodded. "I was going to tell you tonight," she whispered, after Luna was asleep. "Are you sure?" "Dr. Yellen confirmed it yesterday. The baby will be fully human, since you are, but they might still carry some dormant abilities. We won't know until they're older." I pulled both of them closer, overwhelmed by joy. Another little one to chase around the gardens. Another little one to read bedtime stories to, Zara added. Another little one to love, Luna concluded with the wisdom of someone far older than her years. Later that night, after Luna was tucked into her bed with its window facing the 3 moons, Zara and I sat on our porch overlooking the valley. The night air was warm and filled with the scent of night-blooming flowers. "Do you ever regret it?" Zara asked. "Leaving Earth, giving up the chance for a normal life?" I thought about my old apartment, my old job, my old loneliness. Normal is overrated. Besides, what's normal about a guy from Queens living on an alien world, married to the most amazing woman in the galaxy, raising kids who can make miracles happen with their thoughts? She laughed, the sound like music in the alien night. "When you put it that way, ... I love our abnormal life," I said, kissing her forehead. "I love our impossible family. I love watching Luna grow up free and fearless. I love knowing our baby will never have to hide who they are. I love you," she said simply. "I love you too, both of you, all of you." From her bedroom window, we could hear Luna humming a lullaby she'd learned from the other children, a song about stars and dreams and finding your way home across the galaxy. 6 months ago, I'd been a broke construction worker with no family and no future. Now I was a father, a husband, a teacher, and a member of a community that spanned the stars. I'd gone from having nothing to lose to having everything worth protecting. As the 3 moons set and Haven's sun began to rise, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold that Earth's sun never achieved, I held my wife close and listened to our daughter's voice drifting through the alien dawn. We'd started as strangers, brought together by desperation and necessity. We'd become something neither of us had dared to dream of, a real family built on love and trust and the courage to reach for impossible things. And this was just the beginning of our story.